such an awesome guy. I make so many videos.
Hello there, Price of Reason here with a special report. Since its premiere at the Cannes Film Festival in France, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny hasn't really been getting rave reviews. Some critics simply don't think that this is a good movie. Some critics say that it's not very fresh. Some critics who are a little more favorable say that while it's not the best movie, at least Harrison Ford is a really good actor, even at his age. Even most of the favorable reviews are saying that this movie may be a little better than Crystal Skulls, which isn't much of an endorsement since most people don't even consider that a real Indiana Jones movie, or at minimum, not a very good one. And then you have a select group of shill critics that got special access to be at the Cannes Film Festival premiere, and due to their loyalty to Disney and Lucasfilm, they appear obligated to say that the movie is wonderful and that it's the best thing that they've ever seen. But interestingly, even a lot of these access media shills have had trouble really praising this movie. For example, look at this guy, who is considered by Rotten Tomatoes a legitimate movie critic with an already posted fresh Indy 5 review. Let's hear what this guy had to say coming out of the VIP red carpet access media premiere in Cannes.
And I just saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Everything's a little bit crazy on the red carpet here. I described it as really capable fan fiction because you actually get Harrison Ford in it.
Yeah, he sounds really enthusiastic about this movie, and one has to wonder if this movie isn't even liked by many of the shills. Perhaps it really is a movie that's not going to satisfy anybody. I mean, you know it's never a good sign for your movie when the BBC calls it gloomy and depressing and questions if fans actually want to see Indiana Jones as a broken and helpless old man who cowers in the corner while his patronizing goddaughter takes the lead. Imagine that. The movie presents a male icon in such a negative light that it even made the BBC feel uncomfortable. But as much as all of these reviewers have been saying different things, I myself have been wondering what Harrison Ford has to say about this movie. Does he like how his iconic cinematic character was written here? Does he think that Indiana Jones has done justice in this new movie? Well, in an interview Harrison Ford did with Fandango, we finally got some answers. For starters, Harrison Ford clarifies that in this movie, Indy doesn't actually want to retire from teaching, but rather he is forced into retirement.
His students are not keen on archaeology, and he is now forced to retire, and they're bringing somebody else in to be the head of the archaeology department.
Along with Ford explaining that his students at Hunter College don't respect him, it really seems like they're already presenting him as a washed-up has-been in this movie right out the gate. But then, this interview seems to get worse, as when Ford is asked about his overall character in this movie, this is what he has to say.
We're seeing him not so strong, not so brave, not so attentive, but about to go on a grand adventure.
Now, is it just me, or does this not sound very promising? I mean, how can Indiana Jones suddenly be some miserable old washed-up man that's not brave anymore? Being brave is kind of Indiana Jones' thing, and him being old doesn't automatically mean that he has to be a bum. And from what many reviewers have been saying, it'll also turn out in this movie that his wife Marion has left him, which also sucks. If this is what they were going to do with his character, why even bother making this film at all? And to state the obvious here, why do all these movies, especially the ones under Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, all have to tear down a male hero who used to be good, or brave, or heroic, but now he's just a bum? Now he's a big loser. And of course, there's always some woman showing up to outshine him and put him in his place. It's just so repetitive and stupid at this point. We've already seen this with Star Wars, we've already seen it with Willow, and now I guess it's Indiana Jones' turn. What's really disappointing here, though, is that every kid that grew up watching Harrison Ford in the original trilogy of Indy movies wanted to be Indiana Jones. He was charismatic, adventurous, and smart, and those movies brought so much joy and fun to audiences. And now watching Ford sit around miserably and try to promote this new movie as some type of artistic achievement is kind of annoying. Look, I can understand Ford's position. He must have gotten a huge payday for this movie along with a nice back end. Regardless of how this movie actually performs at the box office, Ford will walk away with a minimum of tens of millions of dollars. And with both George Lucas and Steven Spielberg not wanting any involvement in this movie at all, it's pretty clear that he knew that it would probably be a dud, but Ford is already 80. He'll probably never be offered this type of payday again, and he just figured, fuck it. But as a viewer, I don't have to feel the same way. This movie really looks like a turd to me, and I'm not looking forward to watching it. I haven't liked what I've seen in the trailers until now. Nothing about these interviews is getting me excited, and even the reviewers, which usually I don't trust, I suspect that they are telling the truth and the movie isn't good, because this was seemingly a movie that Kathleen Kennedy had a lot riding on, and considering how they're always kissing her ass, you'd think that they'd say that it's great, and the fact that even they couldn't bring themselves to do that, or at least only somewhat do that, then you know that this movie is crappy. One has to wonder, though, how long is Disney going to let Kathleen Kennedy destroy all of the IPs they put her in charge of? According to my calculations, she's lost billions of dollars on Star Wars, especially after pushing her sequels into Disney's parks and hotels. She's lost hundreds of millions on Willow, which is now being removed from Disney Plus because it's being used as a tax write-off. Basically, Kennedy was given one of the most coveted high-profile jobs in the entire industry, and she's failed on every level in the worst possible way. And what does Hollywood do? Gives her a bunch of awards. But don't let the access media fool you. Kathleen Kennedy's best and maybe only good work to date is when she was working as fourth fiddle to the likes of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and it turns out that that was her maximum potential. And while that's certainly very respectable, she has no creative instincts whatsoever, no vision at all. During her 10 years at Lucasfilm, she hasn't created any new IPs. She's only destroyed the iconic ones she's been given, one by one. And sadly, she did it by pushing so many of her politics and different agendas. And it's not even like the movies were fun and enjoyable and had a bit of agendas. They were just awful and difficult to watch. I believe that years from now, people will recognize that she has to be the worst Hollywood studio boss ever. At the end of the day, though, I think that this movie will probably make some money at the box office because it's a known brand name, but given the budget that was used to make this movie, with all of its reshoots, it has to make at least $750 million at the worldwide box office just to break even, and that's a lot of money. And whatever happens with this movie, if nothing else, I think that this will probably complete Kathleen Kennedy's hat trick of failures. What do you think about the Indiana Jones reviews? Are you looking forward to seeing the movie? Feel free to let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and also clicking on that wonderful notification bell. Thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you, and good day.
I am such an awesome guy. I make so many videos, but I'm